dia mundo. It is another soggy day in Portugal today. We're out the house fairly early for us and we're heading to the supermarket. We've run out of breakfast cereals and oats and milk, so we are going to grab a coffee there before we do our weekly shop. We thought it would be good to film what we eat in a week as vegetarians here in Portugal. So that's what we're going to do after our shopping. We're going to set it all out and do a little vegetarian food shopping haul for you. Right, we've come to the little cafe. We ordered 2 croissants. I got an abatonado and Jay got 2 coffees. He got a Maya Delight and a cafe, didn't you?
Yes.
€2.36. Amazing. Croissants look nice and fresh. Jay ordered the 2 coffees so he could mix his cafe espresso shot with his Maya Delight, because he always says the Maya Delights here are too weak. they just taste a lot like milk.
So today's task is to pick up as much vegetables as we can get for a week's worth of shopping. We want to make sure that we don't have to come back to the shop at all at any point this week, so we can work out how much money we've spent on veg here in Portugal. Portugal is a very meat-based country, so doing a vegetarian shopping haul I thought was quite interesting, because we do eat at home a lot and we need to get enough to last, and veg is quite reasonable here and most of it's local too. We do eat a lot of oats for breakfast and we don't really drink dairy anymore, so soy milk is essential.
We are done with the shop and we made it just in time. Just as we got back to the car, the rains started coming down so heavily. There's meant to be storms across central Portugal over the next couple of days, really windy and rainy, so it looks like it is in full force already. We are heading back home now and we will show you everything that we bought.
Another good thing about living here in Portugal is we get free spring water. You can drink the tap water out here, it's treated, but we just choose not to. And when you get free spring water from the village, you might as well just fill up your bottles and have a little bit of a better source. Some vegetarians and vegans add trace minerals to their water, but I don't think we need to if we're drinking spring water, which is coming from the mountains. So getting it from this source is probably good for our health in some ways.
So this is our weekly food shop. This is what we eat in a week as a vegetarian couple. The cost of all the items on this table right here costs €45.75. And I'm just going to go through and show you what we bought. So we've got a big selection of fruit and veg, obviously. We eat a lot of carrots, pears and apples. We use them for our juices as well. We've got some raw beetroots, new potatoes, a lot of ginger, we love ginger, lemons and obviously fresh spinach we can't get enough of. We've got 3 leeks here, a whole head of cauliflower, garlic and 2 bunches of bananas. And surprisingly, actually the most expensive items that we bought in this shop were actually the bananas, because they were imported from Madeira. They're still Portuguese bananas, but they come from Madeira. We also have a whole squash, and this week I'm going to do a butternut squash and lentil dal, so that's why we bought the squash this week. The cheapest item that we actually bought was this tomato pulp or passata, and it's 50 cents a jar for 500 grams. We've also got some tomato puree, and then we're on to the canned goodness. We get through a lot of beans and pulses. That's where we get our protein from. So we get 2 massive cans of chickpeas and we use them in dinners as well as making homemade hummus, and we also roast them up just as a snack with some spices on, which is delicious. Black beans and red kidney beans. This week we've also bought a can of coconut milk, which isn't always on the list, but this week it's in one of the recipes that I'm going to do. We've got a can of tomatoes and also a can of pre-prepared lentils, as well as a packet of green lentils. We also have a bag of pasta, which we use if we just want a quick, easy meal that doesn't take too much thinking about. We just have some pasta with olive oil and garlic and maybe some beans. We buy soy milk because we don't really drink dairy at all anymore. We don't buy milk, so we just have the soy milk. We buy a lot of oats because we have them for breakfast, and we also add them into some dishes. If things need thickening up or something, we'll add oats. We also buy some salted peanuts, which we either just have as a little snack or we blend them up to make our own homemade peanut butter. Sunflower seeds as well, we have on top of meals just as a little addition, and they're really nice. We've got some bread here. This is the darkest bread that we can find, brown bread. Chia seeds is something that we have pretty much every day. We add on to our breakfasts, and I've been adding them into juices and drinks as well, so we get through quite a lot of chia seeds. And then teas, we have a mint and a fruit tea. We don't really drink normal black tea anymore with milk, so we tend to have herbal teas instead. And lastly, dark chocolate. Our little vice, we tend to buy the 70% or higher, just dark chocolate, and that's about it. And that concludes our weekly vegetarian food shop haul. This week I've planned out 4 different meals, so we've bought all the ingredients for that, and a couple of the dishes we know double up, so they last 2 days rather than having to cook each day. So the 3-bean chilli always makes enough for 4, so we have it over 2 days, which is always nice because I know the next day I don't have to cook.
And now we have to put all of this away. As I mentioned before, being a vegetarian in Portugal probably isn't the best place to be a vegetarian because a lot of the local dishes are meat-based. Sometimes we do buy cheeses that we have as a treat, like with cheese and bread night or something, but we haven't bought that for the house for a long time because generally the only time we eat cheese now is when we're out and about, because most restaurants for vegetarian choice would only have, let's say, a cheese sandwich or something like that. The only time we drink dairy is if we have a coffee with milk, but recently we've started drinking black coffee a lot more. So it's very gradually getting phased out of our diet. I would say if you wanted to be a vegetarian in Portugal, don't come here without a blender or a juicer. You do need it to add variety and different textures to your meals. And just processing stuff up is so much faster when you have one. It's essential for us for cooking.
It is lunchtime now, and I've just made myself a green juice. I've been missing my green juices because I'm using the actual juicer now. You can't juice up spinach, so I've made a juice in the blender, my original pear and spinach and ginger. So I've got that with some carrot sticks and homemade hummus today.
It looks like that storm has passed. It's a little bit like Thailand here, in the sense that it rains a lot and then it stops. What are you doing, Eden? How have you been today? Alright? Where's your paw? No, you don't want to do that for me, do you? Come on, do a trick. Where's your paw? What was that? Paw? Eden? Paw? Paw? No, there's no food there.
You haven't got any treats for me.
There's no food, so why should I bother? You naughty. Naughty dog.
Just let Eden out to have a little roam around the garden. It didn't last long though. She ran straight back in after a couple of minutes. Right, back inside. Jay and I are at the kitchen table. Story's here with us, having her bottle. And I'm going to end the vlog for today. We are just going to crack on with some work this afternoon. Oh. So not much else is going to happen here today. Hit that thumbs up button for us please, and subscribe, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye.
Yeah, I brought you my bone and I brought you my donut, and all I got for it was a carrot stick. I don't know what is carrot. I half crunched it and left it aside so you can see that I do not want it. Can I have some kind of dog treat, please? Oh.